You say you want it, but do you really? Because wanting something isn't just about saying the words. It's not about posting quotes, or writing goals in a journal, or getting fired up for 5 minutes after a video. Wanting it means you're willing to bleed for it, to hurt for it, to stay up late and wake up early, to be laughed at, doubted, ignored, and still keep going. Everybody says they want to succeed. Everybody wants the result. But the truth is, most people don't want the cost. They don't want the pressure. They don't want the lonely nights, the hard choices, the quiet grind that no one sees. But that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. That's the line between interest and obsession. So before you say you want it, ask yourself, are you willing to suffer for it? Are you willing to sacrifice for it? Because the question isn't, do you wish for it? The real question is, do you want it bad enough to become someone new for it? You don't grow just because you want to. You grow because something inside of you decides that staying the same is no longer an option. And the truth is, most people don't actually want it. Not really. Not really. They sort of want it. They want it when it's easy, when it's convenient, when it fits neatly into their schedule, when it doesn't interrupt their comfort. But that's not how change happens. That's not how greatness is built. Wanting it only when it's easy is the same as not wanting it at all. Because desire isn't proven in the moments when everything's going well. It's proven when everything feels like it's falling apart, and you still refuse to quit. You still show up. You still keep going. That's when you find out if you really want it. Think about this. When you truly want something, you don't need to be told to chase it. You don't need reminders. You don't wait for motivation. It's like air. You don't forget to breathe. You just do it, because your survival depends on it. That's how wanting something deeply should feel. Like it's not a preference, it's a necessity. But for that to happen, the want has to run deeper than convenience. It has to reach a place where it touches your identity, where not becoming who you're meant to be feels like a form of self-betrayal. That's when things start to shift. Because now, your standards rise. Your excuses shrink. You stop negotiating with your limitations, and you start challenging them. You don't say, a maybe someday. You say a now, and you move. And that shift doesn't come from outside of you. It's not found in a YouTube video or a book or a motivational quote. It comes from a moment of radical honesty. A moment where you finally say, I'm tired of playing small. I'm tired of settling. I'm tired of watching my potential collect dust while I scroll through everyone else living their story. That moment right there, that's the birthplace of hunger. And hunger is powerful. Hunger doesn't ask, do I feel like it today? Hunger moves. Hunger wakes you up in the dark hours and whispers, there's more. But here's what most people miss. Wanting it doesn't feel good all the time. It's not all fire and inspiration and passion. Sometimes it feels boring. Sometimes it feels exhausting. Sometimes it feels like you're dragging yourself through mud, while no one claps, no one notices, and nothing changes. At least not on the surface. And that's where most people quit. Not because they didn't want it, but because they didn't want it enough. They weren't willing to pay the price. And make no mistake, there is always a price. The currency is your comfort, your distractions, your ego, your old identity. That's the toll you pay on the road to growth. But here's the beautiful part. Once you accept that, everything changes. You stop fighting the discomfort. You stop expecting the road to be smooth. You start welcoming the friction because you know it means you're alive, you're trying, you're in the game. That's when resilience starts to build. And that's when people start to notice something different about you. They might not be able to name it, but they feel it. There's a shift in your presence. You start walking with a quiet certainty, not because everything's working out, but because you've made peace with the work. You've stopped waiting for easy. You've stopped waiting for perfect. You've stopped waiting for permission, because you don't need any of that. You just need to want it more than you want to stay the same. And if you do, if you really do, then there is no force, no setback, no rejection, no fear that can stop you from becoming who you were always meant to be. You don't grow when it's easy. You grow when the want becomes bigger than your excuses. Everyone says they want it. Everyone says they're ready. This is my year. This time I'm serious. I'm going to change my life. And the words sound good. They sound strong. But here's the thing, wanting it isn't about what you say. It never has been. It's about what you do when no one's clapping. It's about what happens after the excitement wears off, after the initial fire dies down and you're left with the cold, quiet reality of work. You can post your goals on Instagram, write them on your bathroom mirror, talk about them to everyone around you, but none of that means anything unless you're willing to back it up. Because the world doesn't respond to declarations, it responds to consistency. It responds to discipline. To discipline. It responds to those small, invisible choices you make daily, not just the big, flashy ones you make publicly. Think about it. Anyone can want it when it's fun, when it feels exciting, when you're surrounded by energy and encouragement. But what about when it's just you and the silence? What about when you don't feel like it? When you're tired? When it's raining? When you failed yesterday and have to wake up and try again today, with no guarantee it'll work this time either? That's the test. That's where wanting it gets real. So that's the tester day and have to wait. Because there's a difference between interest and commitment. Interest says, I'll do it if it's convenient. Commitment says, do it no matter what. And people who really want it, people who are serious about what they say they want, don't wait for the right mood, or the perfect timing, or someone else to drag them across the finish line. They build systems. They hold themselves accountable. They stop negotiating with excuses and start acting in alignment with their values. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Anyone can sprint for a day, but can you jog for a year? Can you show up when it's boring? Can you keep going when you're not seeing immediate results? Because that's what separates those who say they want it from those who actually do. And here's the uncomfortable part. People will judge you by your behavior, not your intention. You could have the biggest heart, the clearest vision, the purest desire, but if your actions don't reflect that, the world won't feel it. If you say you want to be healthy but never work out, or say you want to start a business but never take a single step toward it, or say you want to grow but always wait for someone else to push you, people won't take you seriously. Not because they don't care, but because your actions speak louder than your words. And this isn't about being perfect. It's not about never making mistakes or always being on top of your game. It's about alignment. It's about looking in the mirror and asking yourself, are my actions matching the life I say I want? Not once a year when you're writing resolutions, but every day. In the small choices, in the mundane, in the repetition. Because that's what builds momentum. That's what builds trust, not just from others, but within yourself. Every time you do the hard thing, even when you don't feel like it, you build a little more self-respect. You teach yourself that you're someone who follows through. You stop waiting for motivation and start moving from conviction. And that's where the shift happens. That's where your words stop being empty promises and start becoming declarations backed by action. That's when people stop questioning whether you're serious, because your life shows them. So if you really want it, prove it. Not to me, not to anyone else. To yourself, show up. Do the thing, quietly, consistently, with no need for applause. Because in the end, words don't change your life. Actions do. Do? There's something we all need to come to terms with. There is no transformation without pain. There is no version of growth that feels safe, clean, or perfectly timed. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. And sometimes it hurts like hell. That's the part people don't talk about when they say, you have to want it. Because if you truly want it, you have to be ready to hurt for it. Think about anything meaningful you've ever done in your life. Anything that stretched you, shaped you, woke you up. It didn't come easy. Couldn't come easy. It didn't show up gift wrapped on your doorstep. It demanded something from you. Maybe it demanded your time. Maybe it demanded your pride. Maybe it demanded you walk away from people, patterns, or comfort zones that you were clinging to. That's the price. Wanting it bad enough means being willing to pay it. The truth is, you don't really know how badly you want something until you've suffered for it, until you've sacrificed for it, until you've failed and had to decide whether you're going to stay down or stand back up. and go again. That's where the separation happens. That's where the quitters go one way and the committed go the other. It's not about talent. It's not about who had the better starting point. It's about who's willing to suffer longer without giving up. And I get it. Pain doesn't feel like progress. Especially in the moment, it feels like you're losing. Like you're doing everything right, but nothing is working. Like maybe you weren't meant for this. But that's exactly when you are making progress. Not when it feels good. When it doesn't. Because pain is the signal that you're stretching. That you're pushing beyond who you used to be. That you're stepping into the unknown instead of hiding in the familiar. We all say we want to grow, but growth demands discomfort. You don't become stronger without resistance. You don't become wiser without failing. You don't become more disciplined without temptation. The pain is part of the process, not the punishment. People say, if it hurts, maybe it's not meant to be. But I believe the opposite. If it hurts, it probably matters. If it hurts, that means you care. That means you're in it. That means you're in it. That means something inside of you is refusing to stay where it is. And that kind of pain? That's sacred. That's fuel. That's the sign that you're in the arena, not on the sidelines. You're living. And I know there are moments when you'll want to walk away. Moments when quitting looks easier than continuing. Moments when your mind tells you, this is too much. You're not cut out for this, or no one would blame you if you gave up. And in those moments, you've got to ask yourself, do I want this enough to be tired for it? To be doubted for it? To be doubted for it? To be broken down and still keep going for it? If the answer is yes, then you keep showing up. You keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when your legs shake, even when the voice in your head screams a stop. Because that's when you build grit. That's when you build trust in yourself. That's when you start becoming the version of you that doesn't just dream big, but fights for those dreams, bleeds for them, stays for them when it would be easier to walk away. Pain is the price of admission. Not a punishment, not a curse. It's the cost of becoming. You don't get to have the result without enduring the process. And the people who rise, the ones we admire, the ones who make it, the ones who change the game, they didn't do it because they avoided pain. They did it because they outlasted it. So when it hurts, don't panic. Don't run. Don't assume it means something is wrong. Instead, lean in. Dig deeper. Remind yourself why you started, and then keep going. Because the pain you feel today is the proof that you're in motion, and if you can endure it, you'll earn every inch of the life you say you want. At some point, you have to realize no one else can want it for you. Not your parents, not your mentor, not your best friend, not your coach. They can encourage you, they can guide you, they can believe in you with everything they've got. But if you don't want it for yourself, none of it matters. And that can be a hard pill to swallow, especially if you've grown up in an environment where people pushed you, motivated you, or tried to carry you forward. But the truth is, wanting it, really wanting it, has to come from within. You can't borrow passion. You can't outsource hunger. You can't outsource hunger. You can't download discipline from someone else's drive. It's personal. It's internal. It's yours. People love to talk about support systems. And don't get me wrong, they matter, but they aren't a substitute for your own desire. They can't carry you through when things get tough. They can't make you choose progress over comfort. That decision has to come from you, every single time. And here's where most people get stuck. They think wanting something means waiting until it feels right. They wait to be inspired. They wait until their circumstances are perfect. They wait for someone else to validate their ambition, to say, and now's the time, or you've got what it takes. But the truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to give you the life you dream about. That's your job. That's your responsibility. You have to decide. You have to decide. But not once, but every single day. You have to choose discipline over distraction. You have to choose effort over excuses. You have to choose your future over your fears. And yes, it's hard. Of course it's hard. Because growth is supposed to challenge you. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. But here's the flip side. Once you realize that no one else can do this for you, you also realize something powerful. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait for someone to pick you. You can pick yourself. You can start building your life, your dream, your legacy right now. Without approval, without applause, without waiting. There's something freeing about that. Scary, yes, but freeing. Because now the power's back in your hands. It's not up to your circumstances. It's not up to how supportive your friends are, or how many resources you have, or whether the timing is perfect. It's up to your decision, your will, your want, and that want, it has to burn inside of you. It has to be strong enough to get you out of bed before the sun. Strong enough to keep you going when you're tired, when you're doubting yourself, when nothing seems to be working. If you're relying on someone else's push, you'll only go as far as they want you to. But when the want comes from inside, there's no limit. I've seen so many people full of potential, full of talent, full of opportunity, fall short. Not because they weren't capable, but because they never claimed the responsibility for their own desire. They waited for someone else to push them, validate them, choose them, and eventually they burned out. Because someone else's belief in you will never be enough to carry you if you don't believe it first. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to be the smartest, the strongest, or the most prepared. But you do need to want it. Deeply. Desperately. Unapologetically. Enough to take the hits. Enough to keep showing up. Enough to take full ownership of the journey, especially when no one else understands it. Because the truth is, not everyone will get it. Not everyone will see your vision. Some will doubt you. Some will mock you. Some will mock you. Some will smile to your face and whisper behind your back. Huh. And if your want is fragile, if it's dependent on other people's support, it'll crumble under that pressure. But if it's yours, if it's rooted in something real, it will hold, it will grow, and it will carry you forward. This path, this fight, it has to be something you claim for yourself. Because if you're not willing to carry the fire, no one's going to carry it for you. You have to want it enough to walk alone. You don't get to the top by accident. You don't become your best self by chance. And no one hands you a meaningful life. You build it brick by brick, choice by choice, day after day. That path, it's not always pretty. It's not always popular. It's not always popular. But it's always worth it. Because when you want it bad enough, you stop needing motivation. You become it. You stop chasing shortcuts. You build discipline. You stop blaming the world. You take full ownership of your story. You want it. Then prove it. With your time. With your time. With your choices. With your actions. Because in the end, the life you want isn't out there waiting for you. It's waiting for you to want it enough to go get it.